have to leave soon to get on the road to drive more than an hour to go see my Senator Jeff Merkley at his town hall in Oregon City. But there's something I really want to talk about first.
While I'm here, Make America Healthy Again is just eugenics. It is just eugenics repackaged as natural, holistic medicine. You're telling me, why is it normal for people to hate autistic people openly? Shouldn't be a normal thing to say. That should be publicly shamed.
Right?
Let's send all these mentally ill people to a farm or a camp. Where have we heard that before? And what happens when you take people's medicine away from them? It's not good. Does it give the vibe maybe that they're trying to make sure those people do not procreate because they think that they are weak? They don't think they have the good genes to procreate. Like, it is so in our faces, but I feel like nobody talks about it.
I saw this video the other night and I was like, yes, this is what I've been saying for weeks. And I know lots of other people have. If you haven't seen my video on Elon Musk and the PayPal mafia, and I mean, I have lots of videos on Elon Musk and how he is an out eugenicist. Not only does he believe his genes are superior, and that's why he has so many children with so many different women, he thinks he's going to like breed a master race, but he is an out eugenicist who comes from a family of eugenicist Yahtzees. Again, you can go to my YouTube and find multiple videos on the subject. We are dealing with a fascist regime that is trying to normalize eugenics and using lots of euphemisms like camps and farms and doing all kinds of things that they think are subtle and are really not subtle, but we aren't naming it and calling it what it is. We are not calling it out. And so more and more and more, they are hoping these practices will be normalized, but we need to be declaring what it actually is, which is eugenics. It's important to remember that the Yahtzees came first for disabled folks. I mean, Germany had a long history of eugenics prior to World War II. Experimenting on and euthanizing disabled children in particular was seen as justifiable in order to make medical advancements for everybody else. Disabled children in particular were expendable. Every time you run across some crunchy mom, and please check out my video on the crunchy to alt-right pipeline, some crunchy mom, some Jewel Kelcher-esque, woman who says, I just want America to be healthy again. I'm a big fan of RFK because I just want us to have clean eating and I don't want our bodies to be poisoned by vaccines because they believe all that vaccine nonsense. I would like you in your head and even out loud to say, oh, you're a eugenicist. You don't want to make America healthy again. What you want is eugenics. Like, we need to stop using these euphemisms and talking around what's really happening. Making sweeping, massive, gutting cuts to Medicaid, that is a way to make sure that the most vulnerable folks in our community, folks in poverty, disabled folks, do not get access to healthcare. And what happens when you don't get access to necessary healthcare? Gutting SNAP, TANF, WIC, other subsidies so that our poorest, most vulnerable community members go hungry, putting undue stress on their bodies, making sure that those children are now malnourished. What do you think the end goal of that is? Trying to make sure that people either can't get access to their medication like their SSRIs, and then wanting to take those people and shunt them out to farms, whereas the person that I was stitching was saying, like, we make sure that they can't reproduce. What do you think that is? Cutting off funding that Congress has already allocated for all kinds of medical research so that new treatments and cures, new medications are never discovered. What do you think that is? Depriving people of medical advancements and future health care that could save their lives. What do you think that is? Taking away caps on medication prices that Biden put in place so that people can no longer afford things like their insulin, like their EpiPens. What do you think is the end result of that? When people cannot get life-sustaining or life-saving medication because it is now cost prohibitive, what does that mean? It means that chronically ill people will not get life-saving, life-sustaining medication. What will happen to those folks? Everything about what this regime is doing is making people sicker, weaker, more likely to die. I made a short video the other day about how the CDC is now no longer allowed to promote things like the flu vaccine. And this is where I want to point out that it's not just folks with disabilities, because do you know who is the most likely to die from the flu? It's the elderly. In a bad year, like 40, 50,000 people die from influenza. My dad survived, he was in the ICU, influenza pneumonia, a number of years before he died, and I would not wish that on anybody. It was horrible. The sweeping cuts to Medicaid that Congress wants to push through. Do you not understand that Medicaid is what takes care of our frail elderly folks? That is what funds their care in facilities like memory care for your loved ones with dementia. What happens when that funding goes away? I mean, it's wild to me that conservatives that 15, 20 years ago were freaking out about death panels from folks who wanted universal health care. Those are the folks who are now pushing through policies that actively remove life-sustaining, life-saving care from people so that billionaires can have a tax cut. But ultimately, because what this is eugenics. We need to be shaming it. We need to be calling it out. We need to be accurately describing what is happening and not participating in those euphemisms. If someone tells you, I just want to support RFK because I just want America to be healthy, then I really encourage you to come back at them with, oh, so you're a eugenicist. We should not be mincing words. We should not be trying to minimize what it is that is being enacted all across this country. Conservatives who voted for this are about to find out that they voted for their elders to have their health care taken away, their elders to get booted out of nursing homes, or for families to be strapped with the $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 a month payments to keep their loved ones in places like memory care. Those will no longer be covered by Medicaid. Those conservative voters are going to find out that their children will no longer have access to medications that they need, or that like their kid with type 1 diabetes, what used to cost $6 a month is now going to cost $300 a month, or much more actually. And we know that, red communities that voted for Trump, they experience the same rates of disability, of chronic illness, of need for medical advancements and medication and care for everything from cancer to cerebral palsy, right? Those folks are impacted at the same rate as all of us who oppose this. And so they will therefore feel the consequences. Because as Elon Musk said, and I will say this in every video until everybody remembers it, Elon Musk has called us the parasite class because he is a eugenicist. He thinks only the technocrats should be able to reproduce and they should be ruling over all of us. And not only should every aspect of our lives having to do with where we live and where we work and what we earn and what we eat, should all those things be controlled, but our reproduction should be controlled and the length of our lives should be controlled. He doesn't care if you are red or blue, if you voted for Trump or you didn't vote for Trump, if you support fascism or you don't support fascism. He views all of us equally as the parasite class, and his plan for eugenics will be enacted equally amongst all of us. Do not be fooling yourselves. And again, as more and more very poorly constructed, feeble propaganda comes out, it is important for us not to normalize the lies, not to normalize the horrific policies of this regime. We need to be calling eugenics eugenics. We need to be very real about what is happening, and we need to not be minimizing it.